Hey, welcome once again as we get set for week 2 of the college football season here at Earlham College. Quakers will be back on the road this time. Again, they'll play at HIRAM, a team that did not play last week. Earlham losing last week to Wilmington College. We'll talk about that matchup coming up in just a couple of moments. Head coach Nick Johnson back with us again this week. And Coach, last week, I think the one thing, and you and I talked about this off the air, is you don't use excuses, and I know that. I've known you long enough. But I told you that my feeling is there are factors in games that make a difference in the outcome. You have a lot of freshmen that are playing against a lot of seniors that have been around a long time, even in Wilmington. Sure. And that's a factor in the game, and you saw that on Saturday.
Yeah, we absolutely saw it as a factor, and one of the things we talk with our guys about is having to grow up fast. You know, we're going to throw these young guys in the fire. That's what we do here in terms of the game and our need for numbers and how we recruit specifically. We want to get good athletes in and out of the game as much as possible. Those guys are going to get out there, and obviously we make no excuses. I agree with you. Those things do factor in, and we've got to learn how to appropriate that in our coaching and our game planning to ensure that it gives us an optimum success. It's difficult and it's a challenge, and it's hard with a 17-year-old kid versus a 21-year-old man, but that's part of the challenge. That's part of what we work on in coaching, and we've just got to get better at that. I've got to do a better job of preparing our team to play against more experienced opponents, preparing our team to get out faster and faster each week. I say that to say I thought we had some really good improvements from last year, but that was last year. This is now, and we need to improve immediately. Our guys are excited for this week's challenge. They're excited for an opportunity to get better, excited to compete again, and we as coaches are excited. We've been out after it since 5:30 this morning, excited to get this thing going.
How do you, though, overcome those factors, knowing that you have an experienced football team on one side, 21 years old, you have a 17. That can't be easy to do.
It's not easy. You know, if it was easy, everybody would do it. If it was easy, we'd have 300 guys on our team. My thing behind that is we've got to work at it. And one thing that overcomes it is time. Obviously, throughout the course of the season, that kid grows up each game. But the other thing we have to do is utilize time in an inverse fashion and get them more repetitions against our older guys, get them, not that we're harder on them, but more educated with them as we go throughout the course of the week's practices. So getting those young guys ready to play is paramount to us.
So it not only is a physical thing, then you've got to be better mentally, right?
We all have to be better mentally. We as coaches, we as players, students of the game, the entire unit and family involved in this, we've got to do a better job. And we've been having morning meetings and pre-practice meetings and working with our guys to understand their fits, their position, their body positioning in the game, hand placement, all the nuances that we can to ensure victory this week.
It's a 7-0 game after the first quarter. And then they went on that run, and by halftime, you're fighting that uphill battle. How do you overcome that, not letting another team have those kind of streaks? Because a lot of that happened last year, too. It was boom, 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 and the next thing you know, you're fighting a really...
I think we saw some of that. I think we saw some of the ugly shadows of that, but it's mostly dissipated. Halftime, we went in and we talked about all week. We told them there's going to be something really great, something really bad. How do we respond? We've got to respond well when it's great. We've got to respond well when it's bad. Nothing's ever as great as it seems. Nothing's ever as bad as it seems. We got to keep working in that reality somewhere in the middle to make sure our guys are working toward their success, not just as individuals, but as a team. And so we talked at halftime about how to respond, and had a quick turn of events and some opportunities. We again let some opportunities slip offensively and defensively, but all that stuff was very good for us to learn from. We have it on film. We can talk and teach to it in our meetings and our practices and our sessions. Hopefully it gives us an opportunity to improve right away as we attack practice today and the next few days before going into HIRAM this week.
Wes had a great game. Marcus, 7 receptions in the game, but you're going to have to find some offense outside those two.
Yeah, we're going to have to. I think we're going to rely a lot on E.J. Bilal. You know, he's a good player and he works really hard, and some of that is going to be key to those young guys up front, maintaining blocks to help us sustain drives. We're working with them on technique in the middle, in terms of understanding a few changes we've made to scheme so that they can be up to speed with that. Wes does a great job, but he's got to be able to see too. And so he can see, if you go back and watch the film, there's some plays we left hanging in the air offensively that we're going to clean up this week. But I think EJ will help us. You know, our young guys, Jamel Barnes and Chancey Cothran and Corey Peters, will be great receivers for us. And we still got some great depth at running back with Xavier Flores, Malik Reed, and Cyrus Clark as he gets going too. So we've got a lot of weapons we can still use this week, and we're excited about them.
And the guys in the trenches too. I mean, we'll talk defense in a moment, but those guys up front are still young. Physically, that's a little bit of a different story too.
It's a little bit different story. They're still trying to develop. They're working at it, and I'm proud of those guys, and I'm glad we have them. They're all good kids. They're all hard workers, and I think each week you're going to see something great out of them.
Good. Defensively, gave up some big yards this past week, so that's an area of concern too.
Well, you know, when we go back to the youth, and it's going to sound like an excuse, and there are no excuses to this, I think when we talk about those factors, this is one of those major factors.
Yeah.
When I haven't been in a game, I haven't seen it at that speed, and people will say, yeah, it's Division III, and I played at Class A Texas football, or I did big league in California. When you have guys that are all recruited, whether it's our team or the opposing team, the game gets a little faster. And I think defensively, we have to make that decision as players that we're going to do our job and not circumvent certain routes, circumvent certain areas. We talk to the guys about that. It's going to be easier in games to do this. Make sure you don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, choose the difficult right over the easy wrong. And so our guys are good kids. I'm not saying that they did anything malicious or made intentional mistakes. They were just playing their guts out and trying to make something happen. I think sometimes when you're in a program that hasn't had a lot of success, you get in a situation where you're playing not to lose as opposed to playing to win. And we're working on that as a team to play to win. I believe in all those guys. That's a good group of kids. They can get the job done. They will get the job done. And our coaching staff on that side is impeccable. They know what they're doing, and they're going to get it turned around. So I'm excited for what this week will bring in practice. I'm excited for the opportunity in the game just to see those guys so they can have those two films to show and prove from. Like, look, this is where we were a week ago. Look how good we are now.
Yeah,
so.
Nothing like good film, is there?
Nothing like good film. Eye in the sky, don't lie.
That's right. When we come back, we'll talk about the Terriers coming up next right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.
For the past 35 years, Van Vliet Insurance has built a reputation of bringing a personal touch. That's because at Van Vliet, it's all about you, your needs, your life, and our town. Along with providing quality coverage to individuals, families, and local businesses, we're proud of our community and the opportunity we have to protect your future within it. Van Vliet Insurance, an Erie Insurance representative. Hometown professionals at work for you.
Earlham on the road again this week at HIRAM, a team that did not play last week. I think they had an exhibition game, but it was not a regular season game. What do you see in HIRAM?
Well, again, like Wilmington, see a lot of talent, a little bit more age than they've had in the past, but they still have a definite amount of youth. And I think all of their second-team guys on their depth chart are almost freshmen or sophomores. And so, but they've got some good older players that have been with the program, and they're like us. They come from all over. A lot of speed, I think, initially. Some size to them this year, which is obviously beneficial for them. And they play a little bit more physical game than they have in the past. Like the last couple of seasons, they've been getting better and better in terms of the physicality of football. I see a much improved program. I see one that's going to compete well in their league, and it's a definite great challenge for us right now. It's where we need to be, so we're working to get to where they are. So playing them is the best opportunity to hopefully overtake that.
From a X's and O's standpoint, are they going to run the football, or are they going to try to throw? Are they a spread team?
They're a spread team, but they have some elements of run. They have a nice RPO package. They do some zone read out of it. I think the quarterback can run well. The offensive line moves good in unison. They've got some weapons to throw the ball to. They graduated some kids in their perimeter, but they still got some good kids to get the ball to. So a lot of what we're hinging on is going to be being able to contain the quarterback, get after them, and be able to stop them up front as well as on the perimeter. So.
And you guys came out injury-free pretty much?
Pretty much injury-free. We've got the nominal nicks and bruises, and we still got a couple of guys that are on the bubble with whether or not they can play, and get them checked out this week with the doc and whatnot. But we came out, other than our pride, we came out pretty injury-free. So,
very good.
Yeah.
All right, Coach. Good to see you again.
Good to see
you. Good luck
as
this
well.
week.
Thank you so much. We look forward to it.
All right, and don't forget, always check out GoEarlham.com for all the latest information on the Earlham football team. We'll see you again next week right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports.